Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and this is the second episode of What If Deku Had a Nuclear Explosion Quirk. Okay, so in the last episode, All Might was explaining One for All and asked if Deku wanted to inherit it. And Deku was about to answer, and that's where we left off. Okay, so all Deku thinks for a minute in front of All Might, and then answers, All Might, I will not inherit your quirk. All Might is shocked and asks him why. Deku explains his quirk and how it's very powerful. He hasn't fully mastered it yet, and says, I want to master my own quirk and become the number one hero of my own power before I try and take on anyone else's. So I decided I don't want to inherit your quirk. All Might was shocked at first and then understood, and he said, "Well, at least," All Might said, "Well, at least will you help me find a successor for my quirk?" Said Deku. Deku answered, "Yes, I might have someone in mind actually." All Might says, "Ooh, who then?" "Well, I've got my brother, and well, he's got a quirk similar to mine. It's just his explosions are a bit small on a smaller scale, and he's a nice guy and really is a good person if you get past his hot-headed attitude, and he's got a heart of a hero, so he's my suggestion for you. If you want to meet him, I could get him. We could meet up, and I'll bring him with me." All Might says, "Well, yes, young man. I'll look into it. Okay. But even if you don't want my quirk, I still want to train you and see your full potential." Izuku agrees and says, "Shall I bring him too?" All Might answers, "Yes, I think you shall. I think you should. I want to meet him and see if he's worthy." The next day, Deku brings Bakugo with him to the beach that All Might texted, and to a beach where All Might texted the location. The whole way, Bakugo was asking, where are we going? Why have you just told me to suddenly come with you?" And Deku just answers, "Well, because we're going to train." And when they get there, they see a skeleton like man sitting there, waiting for someone. Bakugo says, "Is that who we're going to train with?" Deku says, "Yes, but just wait." They approach and say hi. All Might responds saying, "Oh, hello, young Midoriya, and I'm guessing young Izuku, and I'm guessing you're Katsuki, right?" Bakugo says, "Yes, but who are you?" And then All Might buffs up and says, "It is I, All Might." And Bakugo's jaw drops and says, "What, All Might? But you were a skeleton a minute ago." "Yes, Bakugo. Yes, young Katsuki. That was my true form. And young Izuku here has brought you along because I have a question to ask you." Bakugo says, Yes." And then All Might says, "Would you like to inherit my quirk?" Bakugo contemplates what just was said and says, but quirks can't be passed on. Someone can't inherit them." "Yes, but my quirk is different, and it can be passed on." Deku says, yeah, that's the reason I brought you here today. Because All Might said All Might wanted to meet you. All Might says, yes, young Izuku here recommended you to me, saying you'll be a worthy successor for my quirk. But first, we need to train. Train? Why? Well, because even if you are quite even if you have a strong body, you still cannot fully inherit it. So we're gonna have to train. All Might says. They both agree and start and get to training. Then, for the next couple of months, they are training constantly every day with All Might and taking occasional breaks. 2 months in, Izuku notices a girl standing there watching them, standing up above the seawall to the beach, watching them. He notices her and runs up to her and says, "Oh, hello. Oh, hi, Momo." And Momo greets Deku and says, "Oh, I'm here because I saw you and Bakugo training with All Might, and was impressed. So I was going to approach you, but you came to me. Yes. Do you want to come down and talk?" She follows Deku to All Might and Bakugo and Katsuki, and they talk. And Deku says, Deku says, All Might, this is Momo. I've talked about her a couple times. All Might says, yes, young Izuku has mentioned you quite a lot. And she starts blushing and says, "Oh, has he? Oh, has he? So then she asks if she can train with them, and they start another 5 months of training until the 7th month mark. One day All Might arrives to see the three on top of a big pile of trash next to a spotless beach. They sees them about to fall, and quickly buffs up and catches them. He says, "You three have come so far in the past 7 months. I'm so proud of you. Especially you, young Katsuki. Look at you. You've grown so much. And now it's time for your reward." They all three of them said, "Reward?" And then they remember, "Oh yeah, one for all." And All Might plucks out her hair and says, "Eat this." All three say, "What?" And then All Might explains that he has to ingest some of his DNA to inherit the quirk. Then Katsuki accepts and eats the hair, and then All Might says, "Okay, I want you guys to go home for now and meet me here tomorrow, okay?" They all three say yes and go on their way. In the middle of the night, Katsuki was dreaming about the previous predecessors of One for All, and Nana says, "Oh, so this is who Toshi picked." Immediately One for All activates in Katsuki's arm instinctively, so it wouldn't, at a low percentage, so it wouldn't break. So it wouldn't break his body for the first time. He activates and destroys a window and wrecks his room. Mitsuki, Masaru and Deku all come rushing into Bakugo's room to see what was going on. They see his whole room trashed and the window broke. They say, "What's going on?" Mitsuki shouts, "What's going on in here?" Deku sees Bakugo's arm glowing and knew exactly what happened. He activated One for All for the first time. And then Bakugo says, "Oh, sorry, I was having a bad dream and my quirk went off." And they dismiss it, and everyone goes back to sleep. The next morning, they all Momo, Deku, and Katsuki all meet up and head to the beach. They see All Might standing there. They see All Might standing there with a short, elderly man standing next to him. The three approach and ask All Might. They say hello and ask who it is. All Might explains that this is Gran Torino and it was his former mentor. He was his former mentor. They all say hello and then Gran Torino asks, "So, which one of you has one for all?" And they point to Katsuki and say, "I do." He says, "Okay, so we're going to." Toshi here asked me to help you train and become stronger and learn how to use your new quirk properly. Katsuki accepts, and then Deku brings up what happened last night with how One for All activated his arm and smashed the window. But then Gran Torino and All Might were intrigued and asks about the dream Katsuki said he had and who he met. He said he met a woman with black hair, and she said, "So this is who Toshi passed One for All onto." They both gasped and said, "What was the woman's name?" Katsuki tries to remember and says, "Ah, yes, her name was Nana Shimura." And they both say, "Nana? She's been dead for a long time. Anyway, you only just got the quirk, right? How is he already having dreams and meeting them?" I know they both shrug it off, saying that it must just be a one-time occurrence, and then start with the training. The time flies by, and Katsuki learns how to control a small percentage small percentage of One for All throughout his body, and learning full cowling. He just calls it full body though, because he didn't come up with a name. After the 3 months, all the 3 months have gone, they all meet up the day before the UA entrance exam. They praise Bakugo and Deku and Momo to see because of how far they've come in fighting and tactical wise, especially for Bakugo or for Katsuki. They all say goodbye and leave to go home. Later that day, Deku and Bakugo do some joint training by sparring in the back garden without using their quirks. The next day, Momo, Deku, and Izuku meet up, and they greet each other, saying, "Oh, hello, guys. And Momo says, "Are you too nervous?" And they both say, "No, we're gonna pass this test easily." And she smiles and says, "Okay, now I'm gonna get pumped up." All three of them walk to the entrance exams at UA, and Izuku trips, and this time wasn't Uraku who saved him, it was Momo, and Deku thanks her, and Bakugo couldn't stop laughing because he nearly tripped on his face. They all go in and wish each other luck. They sit down and see they're all actually sitting next to each other, and start laughing. They start laughing in the middle of the explanation, and Ida stands up and says, stands up and complains about how Oyue have made a mistake because they didn't include the fourth robot in the explanation, and then they call out the three for those Deku, Katsuki, and Momo for interrupting the area. Oh yeah, by the way, Momo's in the normal entrance exam because she trained. She refused to take the recommendation and went through the other way with the other two. Okay, Deku stands up and says, "Well, yeah." He says, "I'm sorry for laughing, but you're the one who interrupted President Mike from doing the explanation of the fourth robot. So you should just sit down and be quiet." Everyone starts laughing at Ida, and he sits down. After that, President Mike says thank you to Izuku, and then starts explaining the fourth robot and how it's just an obstacle they should avoid. Eventually, because Momo's a different school, then it was in a different school than Bakugo and Deku. She ends up in the same arena as Deku, and Bakugo ends up in a different one. They're starting, and Deku sees a girl. This is the rocker, by the way, standing there. She, who looks nervous. He tries to walk over to her, and then Ida puts a hand on him, saying, "What, are you going to ruin that girl's chances of getting into the school by interrupting her?" Deku says, "No, I was just going to try and calm her down because she was nervous." He removes Ida's hand off his shoulder, and then President Mike says, 3, 2, 1, go! Okay, that's where we're going to end off this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed watching. Bye.